Alright. Went like 90 minutes, so I had to take a little bit of a break. Let's get back on track. Or try to figure out where we were going in the first place. Kind of looped around. I kind of haven't been... I think down there is the cove? Or... specifically this area in the bottom of the screen here. I think I went across the whole bottom of it, then over here to I think this is the cove. So I haven't been inside the building itself. That might be interesting to revisit. Which way am I facing? It's like on my side of the room. I kind of want to backtrack. It looks like this. It looks like the other side of the room here is like a dead end. Yeah, there's a whole second floor there, but it doesn't seem to go anywhere. And this guy's here, but he doesn't look like he's guarding anything specific. Probably just a royal sword I already have. Yeah, royal claymore. You can keep it, buddy. Probably looking to wrap this up relatively soon. Because we're, this is probably the finale or something. 3 episodes is probably enough. In fact, I've already gone for 3 episodes worth, so... take whatever the total is of how much I end up recording after this point, average the 3, and that's our new 3 episode duration. That's just how I do it sometimes. Like, I recorded for an hour and 50 minutes and I want to make 3 episodes out of it, so just like divide that by 3, find endpoints approximately around those points. It's pretty much the logic sometimes. If I keep going for too long, people will be like, okay, when's the next Patreon series? You basically finished the series already, so why is it still going? Can I light this? Good. Alright, I need to learn how to cook. Because I'm kind of running low on these and I might need more, because even though I have a billion hearts, some things can like 2-shot me. This is a hearty steamed fruit. I imagine it involves fruit. Like this apple. And a wildberry. Hydromelon. There's a bunch of fruits. Cook. Copious simmered fruit. It's not good enough. Golly gee. I mean, healing's at least. Whoa! Okay, that one's 16 hearts. That's not bad. Oops, I ate a whole durian with my face. Kind of sounds dangerous, honestly. Okay, yeah, I have no idea what my system used to be. Throwing 1 meat, mushroom, banana, apple. Hope for the best. You got trash. Nope, still fruit. Even though it's a... That makes perfect sense, obviously. You throw in a slab of meat and your result is simmered fruit. I have so much system. I just zigzag through and click like a combination of fruity stuff and some shrooms. These results are all over the place. They make you wait a lot longer by having the, by insisting on having a fade out every time that you try to skip something. It's like half the point of skipping it is to do it quickly, and you have a slow fade out that takes a full second. Who do you think you are, Nintendo? Who are you doing this for? How dare you? Alright, well that's like a bunch of healing items. At least more than I had before. That'll probably be helpful. I was just kind of becoming aware of the fact that I'm slowly burning through my backlog that I had from before this expansion. this way? So this way, then all the way at the end, and on the left, there'll be a, like, vertical drop, apparently. Which I think I haven't been to yet, but I might get there and recognize it, who knows. But I might have more or less gotten my fill. It might be time to go into the second gatehouse, fight that boss, and then see if there's anything else on the way to the villain. I might have walked straight out before. There's a lot of verticality here. Ha! Shit! Misjudged where I was there. Oh, whatever. Commit. Is there an evil eyeball to shoot? It's this guy. Being a dude. So I think I went through there, and then went through there, and that's the... Yep, there's the jail. So that's more or less where we started. This is a big vertical spot which you could use to climb. So it's like a shortcut to quickly ascend into relatively late in the sequence. Of course, the whole thing is kind of a do whatever you feel like sort of situation. But this was a different way to do it, what you feel like. I hit him! I did not plan that. By the time I grabbed the second one, I was thinking, like, I probably could hit him, but, I had already done so without even trying. Wow. Some of us are just naturally gifted that way. Ha-da-da-da! Hoo! Stayed up. That ladder only gets you so high, huh? I am kind of curious about the structure that's like halfway up. What do you guys got up here? What does that do? Oh! It activates some kind of air current to get you up. And there's also a bomb spot? With the sneaky boy in it, who will now be dead. Goodbye, sneaky boy. There's a lot of dragon chunks in here. It's useful. Now I'm curious about the ceilings in these rooms. Because that's one of the few... It's one of the few Koroks I've been noticing. Just those little nuts. There's probably a bunch that I'm missing that I just don't know... I don't know to recognize anymore. Oh, this just skips right to the top. Okay. You don't... I was worried you'd have to climb up this thing, but no, it's pretty chill. You climb up that one ladder. You can even use the Zora armor to go up that, You might be able to use the Zora armor to go up that waterfall. I think you might have to be in water to do that. Ow. Oh, the ladder doesn't reach the floor. Yeah, maybe... You probably need to use the... Yeah, you probably are supposed to use that water to make ice. I think you're supposed to make ice pillars to get up to that bottom landing, and then you can climb up to the room. That all being an alternative to just using Revali's Gale, which you should have, but you don't have to, technically. I believe you can beat this game without getting any of the powers, if you so desire. There's a room directly overhead. Oh, that was, that's just Zelda's room on the map. I'm gonna get shot in the face! Whee! Ah! I'm not good at pressing the right button to do what I want sometimes. I'm used to pressing the button on the right to let go of stuff, so that I can then just drop and immediately put out my sail. And then that was not the button I did. Then I pressed something else and it did that, and I was not ready. This resembles a Koroki thing, but I don't know if I get it, if it is one. Hell, that actually, it makes me think it's a witness puzzle. It reminds me of that particular spot. It makes me all curious. Can I stand on this? Yeah, haha. No. Just kind of had a vague idea, but with no real context for it there. Okay. So that's the first guardhouse. That's the second one, just straight ahead. Probably wouldn't hurt to try out the Zora armor. If I can remember how to use it. Yep. Safety. That's the strat. Just drop it the last second. Okay. We're good. Let's actually put real armor on now. Before I get murdered. The biggest numbers I can find. What's the biggest helm I get? This 12 maybe? This is unfortunately only a 3 and doesn't... Sans helm's not especially helpful. It just looked neat. Let's try not to get immediately murdered in here. Sup? Another one of you guys. Ah! Concerning. Meow. No, that didn't work. I was expecting it to trigger the slowed mode. It super didn't. I'm about to die. Having not accomplished much so far. If I keep flanking, he's fucked. Or I'll die, I don't know. Oh, I didn't even trigger the thing. What a waste. Ah, jeez, I'm so fucking trash. Nope. Ah! I never successfully dodge right. Not the way I want to. Did I break my weapon too? Yes, I did. I think these guys are just infinite too, so they're just gonna be rude. Yeah, God, I'm so bad at it. I just don't have any practice with the combat in this game. At this point, at least. I don't know if I was ever good at it, but I'm especially not good at it now. I barely know what I'm even supposed to be trying to do half the time. It doesn't feel anything like other Zelda's combats. So I'm completely, like, I don't have anything resembling practice. God, let me lock onto the guy that I'm fighting at least. I don't care about any of you. I did a backflip. Is that not what I'm supposed to do? To dodge a sweeping attack? I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I have no idea how combat works. I'm trying, but I don't get it. I'm just getting hit over and over again and accomplishing nothing. Alright. Jesus. Ah, it's so fucking awkward. Like, he attacks so rapidly. What the fuck is range? This is why you don't pick up a DLC 4 years later. Shit. No, do the spin. I need you to do the spin, please. God, I can't. It's so hard. Okay, so what's this do? I did it. I'm just beating him in the back now? Is that all it does? Alright. I can't do it. I can't do the combat. I'm sorry. This is a trash video. A trash YouTuber. I can't. I used up all of the food immediately. I've accomplished absolutely nothing. He's like not even hurt. God, now he's gonna try shooting me. That's even worse. There we go. It can happen. Oh my god! Die, overly tall zebra. There we go. There we go. God, he has cartoonishly punishing damage values. When he can do like a third of your health bar in one hit, like holy shit. Am I hitting it? I can't see anything. What's going on? Alright, that's a whole weapon broken on him. Ow, fuck. Time to lose my flow. No! Huh. God damn it, random jackasses, go away. I need to lock onto the guy I'm fighting. Fuck. How do I craft this good healing item? That took so long and I lost all those healing items already. He's dead. Go away. I don't know how to change targets in this when I'm targeting someone. Besides just trying a lot. Okay. Whew. Not proud of that at all. Not even a little bit. What a fucking train wreck. Jump. Okay. I don't even know how much that helps, but I'm trying. Alright. It might be time to wrap this up. Oh, I'm running out of fuel. Hopefully I can make it to the top. God, that was a bad time to get forcefully dismounted. You can't go any deeper. Okay, how do I... It's the picture of the champions. How do I give it items? I'm supposed to give it items, apparently. Mount. I don't know. Yeah, you can see the fuel meter there. Can I give items to it here? I feel like that wasn't explained to me. You're supposed to give items to it to refuel it. Yeah, nope. Ability controls. I don't... Oh, maybe you... just, like, hold them?
Daruk's protection is now ready to roll.
There it is. It's like cooking. That should have occurred to me sooner. Oh. We're good. Okay.
Link. I'm sorry, but my power isn't strong enough. I can't hold it.
I do not remember this part. Oh god. It drops out like a fucking Bloodborne boss getting born. It's so gross. Hi. Friend.
My moment has finally come. Brace yourself, Ganon, for the sting of my revenge!
This will be our final opportunity. We will not fail.
Let's go, little guy. Now, open up wide, Ganon!
100 years in the making. Hold on, princess. Our moment has arrived.
Yeah, I swear that's what the cleric beast sounds like. Right, that's what doing those did. Even if the abilities don't turn out to be useful during the fight, you do end up defeating half his health bar preemptively. Ow. You're in trouble, buddy. Hopefully the sword doesn't snap, though. Ow. I could use with the more... Oh, there we go. I'm like, I can't fucking see anything. But that was because I had the camera too low, apparently, at the beginning. Although it defaulted to that. I'm not used to having control of the camera when I'm locked on. In games, in general. He didn't like that. Whoa, he really didn't like that. That was just a normal arrow. Well, 3 of them, but still. Hello. Do I get to use the motorcycle during the finale instead of a horse? He glowy. He glows now? He glows now. Wow, he's so far is so much easier than the guys I fought on the way here. He missed! Why don't you take damage anymore? Why doesn't he take damage? It wasn't that. Ow. He's flashing sometimes? Does that mean he's weak when he fires? No, I couldn't get close enough, fast enough for him to shoot over my head. Haha. There we go. I have to use that, don't I? You have to knock him out of it with that ability. But the game comes back quick. There we go. So he's immune until Urbosa's Fury hits him. He's like, he was trivially easy compared to the Lionels on the way here. That could like 2 or 3 shot me. Well, aren't you gross? That's the big final fight? What a bore. You're not a motorcycle.
Ganon was born out of a dark past. He is a pure embodiment of the ancient evil that is reborn time and time again. He has given up on reincarnation and assumed his pure, enraged form. If set free upon our world, the destruction will be unlike anything ever seen before. Entrust you with the bow of light, a powerful weapon in the face of evil. Link, you may not yet be at a point where you have fully recovered your power, or all of your memories. But courage need not be remembered, for it is never forgotten.
Go get it. Oh god, how do I... Oh, I don't know how to use a horse. That's awkward. I don't know how to use a horse. Holy shit. I'm going to die.
None of your attacks will get through as he now is. I will hold the malice back as much as I can, but my power is waning. Attack any glowing points that you see.
Where was he? Why was he pathing in that direction? That was weird.
Victorious.
glowing points? Attack any glowing... Oh, that's some glowing points. Where are you going, horsey? If you could, like, run in a large circle around Ganon, that'd be very useful. The part where I aim and you immediately run in the opposite direction, that's a choice being made. Let's see. Where are you going? Where are you... What? I feel like I don't have control over this horse. He takes off in the weird directions. What are you shooting at, buddy? Honestly, he's not even fighting me, so if you could just stop moving and let me aim, that'd be also perfectly valid. Where are you going? I guess he just runs away eventually. You are not... this isn't even remotely what direction I'm pressing on the joystick. And I'm pretty sure you don't have tank controls, do you? Maybe you do. Maybe you do. I don't know. I don't know how to drive a horse. I haven't used one this entire time. Hey, maybe you do have tank controls, and I was trying to press a direction, and that wasn't how you work. Alright, where's the glowing area? Oh, it's under it. Will you go under him, or are you scared? Okay, well. Belly exploded. Let's get out of here. My ineptitude only highlights more how much of a non-threat this part is. He doesn't give a shit about you, which is weird. He should be really angry at you. You know what? I got this. It's fine. The horse was never important, as it turns out. Fuck you.
I've been keeping watch over you all this time. I've witnessed your struggles to return to us, as well as your trials in battle. I always thought, no, I always believed that you would find a way to defeat Ganon. I never lost faith in you over these many years. Thank you, Link. the hero of Hyrule. May I ask, do you really remember me?
Hey, you look kind of like the girl in this photo. I really wonder what the next game's going to be like. Like, is she going to be around? What's going to happen in that game? Will Cass still be around, more importantly? Breath of the Wild. So that was the second DLC that I took way too long to get to because reasons given at the beginning of the series. But yeah, people got really excited about this playthrough, so Patreon actively nominated every single 3D Zelda, and I was always busy for a while, and then eventually I was afraid to come back to it because I didn't really remember how to play, and that was partly true because I did get back into the groove faster than I thought I would, but there's definitely a number of things I struggled with because of that, and some tangents or just things I just didn't recognize because I'm like, I don't remember the original game enough to know what changed. But controversial what? I think the controversial thing to say might be that I might like the first DLC better. This one does eventually give us a new dungeon, which is neat. And that was kind of fun to run around it and see the unique way that it worked. So that was kind of cool. I do like the weird, almost like clockwork dungeons that were in this game that were just really different from the ones in other games, now that I've played them all and so on. But I do like a big meaty Zelda dungeon, which is like now that I've played all the other ones, I can see why people were disappointed by that particular thing. But still, Breath of the Wild like revolutionized in some ways open world games and how to use the map meaningfully and make it actually explorable and not just a big landscape that doesn't mean anything. Unfortunately, most games didn't learn from that, so open world games are largely the same things they were back then, even though it's 4 years later. We're just now reaching the cusp where all the excuses are largely gone. All the big franchise companies that make an open world game every 1 or 2 years for their given franchise, they had a chance to learn this kind of stuff, like Ubisoft. But yeah, like Sucker Punch put out Ghost of Tsushima, and it was the most generic open world again game ever. And I guess people like that stuff because they're like, oh my god, game of the year, I love this so much. It does nothing creative, but that doesn't matter apparently. And Ubisoft put out they just keep putting out Assassin's Creeds, and they put out Far Cry 6, which seems to just be like the worst one. Like they're only getting any more creative at open world games, but they keep making worse versions of their own game apparently. And for a lot of people even hold on to the idea that Far Cry peaked at 2 when it first had a bunch of creative ideas and how to use its open world and all of its factions and all that, and then it just gets more watered down every sequel until now it's just noise. Patreon had me play 4 and it was fine. I played 5 on purpose and it was not fine. It was just noise. You just walk around a map doing a bunch of objectives that are basically all the same objective. It's just clear out this camp basically. And like in that game, it's just noise because you get attacked every second of the gameplay. You people just spawn nearby and start attacking you for every second of playing the game. Like Far Cry 5 was a nightmare. It was like you're just doing one thing literally all the time, and it's supposed to be just it being at 11 every second is supposed to somehow be exciting, and it's like, no, it's just tedious and boring at some point. I've been not having a good time with open world games for like a while now. And for me, the kings of the genre have been Breath of the Wild and Pathologic 2. Pathologic 2 is just incredible in how it uses its open world and meaningfully engages with it in a Dead Rising sort of way, which I guess Dead Rising being a game that also kind of handles that kind of stuff in an interesting way. People might struggle with calling it open world because it's all inside of a mall or whatever, but I mean, you run around non-linearly around the place and you can do stuff, and I don't know. Definitions can be weird, I guess. I guess having a sky above you helps in these arbitrary definitions of what genres are. But yeah, Pathologic and Breath of the Wild, those are the real interesting ones. Everyone else is just chasing their tail, and it's just not interesting. But that said, one of the reasons why I said this is my second favorite DLC, possibly. I mean, I played the other one 4 years ago. Is that like a lot of people like the island, where they take all your stuff away, and you have to like, you're back to basics. We got to use your knowledge you've gained of like how to gather stuff and cook and go find some tools to use to fight and then accomplish your goal on that island. That DLC was like a macro version of that, like a big multi-floor challenge where you had to like make careful choices and play carefully and use the knowledge you've gained so far. Your knowledge that I've lost now, so I would get stomped if I tried now, but it was a cool, interesting expansion. The problem with doing an expansion to the actual in-game world of Breath of the Wild is that when you're a returning player, you just want to find the expansion content and go play that. And in this game's case in particular, you had to defeat all of the other Guardian Beasts first. So you basically had to be an endgame player before you even started this DLC, even if you had the DLC when you first played the game. So even if you were playing the game for the first time, it's not especially integrated into the original experience. Like, I get that you could have not finished all the shrines yet, so you could still be shrine hunting, and now there's a bunch of new shrines. A handful of new shrines thrown in there. And that's fine. I did like that none of them are combat shrines, except for the one that is a fake out combat shrine, like almost like they're admitting like the kind of like acknowledging the complaint that I had, at least, of there being too many combat shrines, and they're just kind of samey, and you're always excited about the puzzles. And the only combat shrine in this one was a fake out where you fight a dude and then the floor drops out and there's a whole like weird like horror segment where you're trying to get to this place without getting shot once by all these monsters. And I like solving little puzzles. Those are fine. But this game never recaptured the original experience of why Breath of the Wild was so fun, and it wasn't just the shrines, but it was the exploring and trying to find the shrines, but also just all the other things you'd find along the way. There was the growing roster of Koroks that you were learning how to recognize. There was the weird one-off quests everywhere that would in many cases point to a shrine, but you had to like solve a thing. And like I don't remember it all in great detail these days, but I know that I was enamored with it for like half a year. And when I think back to it, I can remember a couple of weird things. Like I think in the Gerudo Desert, I think I got a quest that told me to go out into the mountains and look at these like giant statues and like try to like follow them and photograph them and figure out where the path leads and so on. And like there was like environmental things where I would wander around an area trying to look for a thing that was hinted at, and that clue would lead to a shrine, but also the act of searching for that clue was engaging because the environment was fun to explore, and I kept finding like Koroks and other things, or even other shrines in the process of just exploring those regions. And so poking around and figuring out what kind of weird stuff they put everywhere, that was just neat. There's always another ruin or another thing that just kind of felt like it was rewarding you for looking around and enjoying your surroundings. And it was cool to not be following waypoints all the time, but instead like going on journeys because you felt like it. Like I would just wake up in the morning, pop this game in, and like kind of like pick a direction of like a chunk of the map I hadn't really seen so much of, and I would just go. And like I haven't played like that in almost anything, I feel like. The problem is the DLC can't recapture that because it doesn't have any new area. There we go. But yeah, the problem with the DLC like that is that just it can't recapture the original magic because you don't play the original experience. Are we still doing cutscenes? You said the end like twice.
We'll make our way to Zora's domain. Divine Beast Varuta. Looks like it's stopped working. Let's investigate the situation. Miva's father. I believe he would like to hear more about her. The least we can do is visit him and offer him some closure. Although Ganon is gone for now, there is still so much more for us to do, and so many painful memories that we must bear. I believe in my heart that if all of us work together, we can restore Hyrule to its former glory. Perhaps even beyond, but it all must start with us. Let's be off. I can no longer hear the voice inside the sword. I suppose it would make sense if my power had dwindled over the past 100 years. I'm surprised to admit it, but I can accept that.
And to the Silent Princess, which constantly seems to represent Zelda. So the voice inside the sword would have to be Fi, huh? Because Fi was inserted into the canon as having basically been the Master Sword all along or something. Bit of a Doctor Who move where you're like, hey, this one character, hope you don't hate them because they're the most important, we're going to retroactively make them the most important character in the history of the canon or something, and they've been here all along. It's one of those moments. Those are controversial at times. But yeah, the DLC was the second DLC was supposed to be more akin to the normal gameplay as a proper expansion as opposed to the challenge mode the first one was, but it was never going to recapture the experience because they were probably never going to bolt a new like continent or something onto the game that you could explore fresh. And so it was always going to be just like a distribution of little things. So I was definitely noticing the irony when I was talking about like the lack of like chasing waypoints and all that, but like in this DLC I was basically just chasing waypoints. It was relatively trivial where you just you start the DLC and it has to tell you where to start it. And then it's like, go to these 4 locations. And then you go to those 4 locations, and those 4 locations say, go to these 3 locations. And then you go to those 3 locations, and then that's all the content, more or less. And it was kind of fun to find little places and solve some of the little challenges they gave you at each one. I did like that most of the shrine locations had a puzzle or some kind of unique thing to do at each one that didn't directly overlap with what you did for any of the other shrines, in addition to getting to do a shrine itself. So that was great. Did not like revisiting the bosses that much, but I did appreciate that there was like attempts to turn them into puzzly things and sort of Zelda bossify them a bit. But I never really liked the bosses that much in this game. And yeah, you ultimately just kind of like, it was kind of like a checklist in a way that open world games usually are, more so than the main game was. But yeah, that's the DLC curse. The only other way to do that would be to be less impactful and just like add more content that can be reasonably sprinkled in throughout the entire vanilla experience. Like just be like, there's more shrines, or maybe an entire new type of content. Like instead of more shrines, they could have been like, here's an entirely new activity or feature of the game or something that's like sprinkled all throughout the game and so on. And at that point, there's two things that are a problem. One, returning players, they're not going to get the proper experience because they already beat the game, and they're probably not necessarily looking to re-beat the entire game with that new thing incorporated. It's really rough when that kind of stuff happens in games where it's like, oh, that game I already beat? Well, now the whole game's better because you can play the whole game while these other things are happening all throughout it. And it's like, oh, that's nice, but like, too late for me. Like when Outer Wilds was going to have a DLC, I was worried the DLC was going to like be really organically spread throughout the entire campaign, because then it was going to be intermixed with a bunch of stuff that I had already solved before and that like muddies that all up. But that game also had its DLC was also kind of its own discrete thing. But I would say that the Outer Wilds DLC did a better job at recapturing what was good about Outer Wilds than the Zelda DLC did about recapturing what was good about Zelda. And I guess that's because Outer Wilds did actually create a new area, and it did a good job at like justifying how that area could have existed all along without you noticing it, and so on and so forth. But like, it did kind of more directly recapture what you were looking for in the first place. So I guess that's a good example of what I'm talking about, is what I would have liked it for the Breath of the Wild DLC. But I would also acknowledge how it's harder for Breath of the Wild because they would just have to make a new area, like the second Witcher DLC. That's the best I can think of. And as far as the idea of making a new feature that's just spread throughout the entire game, as opposed to just a new continent that's more of the same, that's sequel territory. Like, they don't want to waste their ideas on a DLC that a relatively smaller number of people are going to play. They're making sequels. They'll just use the ideas for that. And that's when I talk about the idea that like, I'm curious how the update is going to work. Sorry, I'm kind of it's getting a little late, and I'm like fucking up at expressing my ideas now. I'm curious how a sequel is going to work that is like essentially Breath of the Wild 2, because there's definitely been a Zelda formula in the past, but they change things up from game to game in a variety of noticeable ways, sometimes with really big departures that are really interesting, like Majora's Mask. That was a much more significant change. But Breath of the Wild is this particular open world, and I'm like, are they going to reuse the same map? Are they going to change the map? I think I saw stuff that looked like they were changing elements of the map in a cataclysmy sort of way. I wonder how the story's going to follow up. Like, is Zelda going to be an active participant this time around? But also, like, yeah, like, what are they going to change to make it fresh? Like, gameplay-wise, what will we be doing differently as players to justify returning to this world and this style of stuff? Like, all new shrines everywhere, sure, but also, like, will the gameplay itself fundamentally change in a way that's not just iterative, so that it's like a worthwhile experience all over again? You would certainly hope so, that they don't just like fall, like, because they could easily Assassin's Creed this and be like, here's another game, map changed or whatever, but like, it's basically like he just plays the same way as the last Assassin's Creed. Like, that'd be really disappointing. And one would hope that since it's been like, I think the sequel's going to come out like 5 years after the original game, you would certainly hope that that's a sign that they had some ideas and so on, and that it's going to be changing significantly. But yeah, I'm looking forward to it. In the meantime, thanks for watching like always, guys, and I'll see you next time, and we'll see what Patreon shows next.